Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Flyway's first public office hours. This is exciting. I'm very excited. For those of you who read Julia's blog post, office hours are a thing we've been doing internally for a little while. For us, they've been a great way to review the last few weeks of work. We use them to show off the things we've been working on, to get feedback on those things, and importantly, to make sure that we're working on the right things. At its core, Flyway is an open source project with a free community edition and of course a community who comes with it. So we're committed to that, and we thought, so why not open up our office hours? This is the first time we've done this, so it may be a little bit raw in places, but please bear with us. Okay, very quickly, we should do some introductions. So I'm Johnny. I'm responsible for product and in particular the commercial editions of Flyway. It's these editions that mean we can continue to support the free community edition. Would the rest of you like to introduce yourselves? Tay?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name's Tay. I'm the marketing manager for Flyway. So I'm responsible mainly for shaping our product marketing and community engagement strategies. So my focus in the past couple of months has been just learning more about the Flyway community and understanding what you guys really care about to figure out how we should be communicating with you and really creating as much value as we can for our users through all our different channels that we have.
Thanks, Tay. Julia?
Hi, yeah, my name's Julia. I'm one of the developers on the Flyway team, so doing all the hard code work.
Great, thank you. Mikkel?
Hey, my name's Mikkel. I'm another one of the developers on the Flyway team.
Cool, thank you. And last but by no means least, Axel?
Hi everyone. So I'm Axel. I've had the pleasure to create Flyway and to grow it to what it is today. And I've passed the baton, as you all know, to Redgate about 3-4 months ago now, and I have the pleasure now to assist this fine team with bringing Flyway forward and taking it to the next level.
Wonderful, thanks Axel, and thanks for taking the time to join us today. We are missing one person, that's Alex, who's another software engineer on the team. Sadly, he came off his bike yesterday on his way home from work, one of the hazards that comes with being based in Cambridge. So Alex, get well soon. Okay, cool, let's move on. Hopefully you can see my slide deck. This is what we've got coming up today. We're going to talk through Mikkel in a minute. I will hand over to him and he'll talk through some of the features in 608. And then it's up to Julia, who's going to walk us through the plans we have for the upcoming 6.1 release. Okay, so I will hand over to Mikkel in just a second, but before I do, I just wanted to call out somewhere on your screen, you should be able to see a questions box. As we go along today, please feel free to drop your questions into that box. So we'll leave some time at the end for a Q&A. I can't promise we'll be able to answer all the questions, but if you do have any in particular, then drop them in that box and Tay and I will field those as we go along. Great, okay, let's get going. Mikkel, I should be able to hand you presenter now.
Okay. Cool. Is that sharing my screen?
Yes, yep.
Which screen? What are you seeing?
The terminal window.
Oh, okay. Cool. Let me just. Still getting used to this. Cool. So. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, so Flyway 608 was the most recent patch release we did. This should be the last one before 610. This was a fairly small release with a couple of bug fixes. However, one fairly large thing that we have been doing in the recent patch releases is incrementally shipping the JSON machine readable output for the Flyway command line. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. So the motivation behind this work was The Flyway command line currently produces a human readable output involving ASCII tables and various log messages, which is fine if you're just using it locally, but if you have Flyway integrated in like a CI/CD system and you want to get some more information about what Flyway is doing, it's not very easy to parse. We've heard of people writing their own parsing logic, and there's a fairly popular issue on GitHub at the moment about that. So the current workflow looks something like this. If you want to do anything with the command line in a sort of, in terms of parsing the output in an automated way, you have the Flyway command line, it produces like an ASCII table, and you have to write your own custom parser. And then you can start using that information in your own script. The work we're doing will allow you to take the JSON and use a well-known JSON parser. So it could be JQ, it could be JSON, Newtonsoft, etc., whatever parser you want to use, and then you can just easily start using that information. So it takes a lot of that complexity away from users. So I'm going to demo that now. So if you run Flyway info, you get an ASCII table with the new JSON flag. So it's under JSON.experimental. You get a JSON version of that table. So an example of how you might, so that again, if you'd like to parse, say, the database name, you can do, so I'm using something called JQ, which allows you to do something like this. And then you can grab the database. You could grab the migrations like that. And I could do something like migrations dot version. And then you can see that. So it makes it significantly easier to parse in a machine readable way. Yeah, that's it for the demo. As I said earlier, it's been incrementally released in the patch versions. It's under this experimental flag, so it's subject to change. So sort of use at your own risk. Currently, only the info command is supported on the command line. The full support documentation will be released in 6.10. So that'll be the stable. Sorry about that. The stable bits. Yeah, so that's it for my part on the JSON outputs. I think Julia is now going to talk about the next part.
Superb, thanks, Mikkel. Julia, I should be able to hand you presenter control as well.
Okay.
There you go, try that.
Right, can you see my screen? Waiting for a...
yes, we can now.
Is it there? Right, so we've had quite a sequence of releases up till 6.0.8, shipping roughly fortnightly with bug fixes and the like. Our plan is now to make 6.1 the next release, so we are going to bundle up any regressions unless serious ones appear. They will all come out as part of 6.1, and that will be, our plan is for the 26th of November for that to be released. If something really desperate needs fixing, then there will be a 6.09, but that's not part of the plan at all at the moment. So the headline for 6.1, Mikkel's shown you the JSON output for the commands. That's going to apply to all the commands beyond just info. We are working on supporting Snowflake. That's a Cloud DB provider. That work is in progress at the moment and progressing nicely. And the third big feature is providing a mechanism where we can, for databases where some migrations can run in transactions but not others, a way of annotating scripts to say whether you want to specifically exclude them from transactions or not. The motivation behind this is that it's sometimes very difficult to work out whether a particular procedure or whatever can be called in a transaction or not. And it allows you, the user, to give Flyway hints as to what the correct action should be, rather than just either turning it off altogether or relying on the logic and occasionally finding things fail. We haven't decided yet exactly what form that will take, but it will be some sort of marker in script files that we can recognize. And this is a pattern that we could then use for other purposes as well in future. As I said, small changes and bug fixes will all be bundled up into 6.1. We are going to do as many as we can in the time available. We're not going to hold the release back for small items. Anything that doesn't make it into 6.1 will go into 6.1.1, which will hopefully resume that sort of fortnightly cadence. So let's move on. Oops. So just to reiterate our progress, we intended to put in support for H2 version 1.4.200. That's now complete, and I believe that went out as part of 6.08. We've done some improvements around scanning the file system. Things are cached now, so that rather than repeatedly scanning the same things over and over again, we get a bit more performance out of large migrations. As you said, there's in progress work. We are working on the JSON output. We're working on Snowflake. Flyway skip is a command that we're working on, which will allow you, where a migration has been run on your production server, outside the Flyway pipeline, it provides a mechanism where you can migrate normally in your other environments, but you can skip it on production, so you don't repeatedly apply patches that have been necessary. Obviously, that's not an ideal situation to be in, but we do recognize that DBAs sometimes have to do very quick fixes, and this is a means of supporting them. As ongoing support work, we are picking up things as they come in and making sure that we are always on top of any reported problems. So that is pretty much where we are with 6.1. Who will pick up now?
I'm happy to pick up. Thanks, Julia. What's the best way for people to give us feedback on those upcoming features, to be able to contribute anything they think might be useful for us?
Well, some of them have arisen out of GitHub issues. If there's a particular issue that we're working on that people would like to comment on, then just dive into the issue, put your feedback there, put thumbs up, thumbs down, and maybe give us more detail as well. Or it's always possible to email us, support@flywaydb.org. And you can get in touch with certainly myself personally, and I don't know if any of the other team are visible on Twitter, our contact details, or flywaydb.org on Twitter.
Great, thank you. Axel, I wonder if you would mind giving us some thoughts on some of the stuff that Mikhail demonstrated earlier. I know this is a feature, the machine readable output is a feature that's sort of early on. It's behind an experimental flag at the moment, so there's still the opportunity to develop that particular feature. Any thoughts?
I think it will be. I think it will be a very nice enabler for automation to build on top of it. So this can either be something that you can do within your own company with your own set of scripts that would parse that, but also integration in terms of plugins from third parties, for example, that will then more easily be able to pick up exactly the details of what are going on and integrate it there. Even if they're not written in Java, they'll just have a very nice machine interface for dealing with the CLI. So I think this will be a nice foundational change to build on top of, either in your own organization or for other companies building plugins on top of Flyway for their own products.
Okay, cool. And Mikhail, is there anywhere, just ask Julie the same question, but what's the best way to sort of provide feedback on trying out that feature?
Well, I guess various channels. The GitHub issues is one. If there are any additions people would like to see or any problems people find with it. Obviously on Twitter as well. If people can, I suppose, direct message the Flyway account or do a public tweet. And yeah, there's the email as well. Those would be the main ways.
Okay, great. I think I'll just open up to the attendees listening in today. If anyone's got any questions, we'll be happy to take them. Feel free to type them into the questions box, and then we'll pick them up from there. I'll just give it 30 seconds. So longer term, I think the hope is for these office hours to be able to begin to introduce some of the new features as we're working on them. So we can use this as a forum to gather feedback, real world scenarios for the features we're thinking of, and give us the opportunity to gather information that we might not necessarily have straight away, so we can begin to fold that into the development of each feature. So hopefully we can continue to do these office hours every other week, and each week we'll show you what we're working on, and use this as an opportunity for you to jump in and tell us what you need from those features. Okay, there's a question from Dave Newman. Thanks for your question, Dave. Dave asks, is the JSON support available in the free version or just the commercial version, Mikhail or Julia?
Mikhail, I hope I'm getting it right. I was saying yes, it'll be available in all versions.
Yeah, all editions.
Great, and actually Octavian asked the same question as well, so hopefully that answers your questions. Great. Okay, then in that case, if there aren't any more, any further questions, I haven't actually managed to type out any next steps for us, but that's something I'm going to work on for next time. But I think Julia sort of outlined really what those next major steps will be. Clearly, we could do a much better job of explaining which versions the new features will be coming in as well, so we'll take that into consideration next time. And in terms of feedback for today's session, as Julie mentioned, we have a Twitter account, so you can send your feedback to @FlywayDB. In the milestone for 6.1, you're welcome to send your feedback into as an issue in GitHub, and we'll put details of the next office hours in our newsletter, and you can sign up to that by going to flywaydb.org/blog as well. Great. Okay. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for your time today. Really appreciate it. We'll upload this to YouTube and share the link via Twitter and the newsletter soon, so you'll be able to forward that around to anyone that wasn't able to attend today. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
See you later.
See you, everyone.
Bye.